Good evening, everyone. Before we get started, I would like to invite Mr. Dan Scheidel of United Way to the podium to lead us in our invocation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, you can all hear me. Join me in prayer. Lord, I pray that you watch over and guide all who are here this evening, that you may bless the work of the board, the administration, teachers, and staff. May your love abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that the board may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless for outcomes that benefit our children and their families. Finally, my dear brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, and admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things as you consider business here this evening. And may we give glory, honor, and praise to God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, the Holy Spirit, who is our counselor. Amen.
Thank you very much. And with that, I will call the meeting to order with all members being present with the exception of Ms. Janelle Huff and Reverend Joe Blackwood. Now we will go into presentations and the flag salute. We don't have presentations, we have flag salute. Will everyone please stand? You can.
All right. You join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good, you've got your work in today. Okay, item 2, audience to visitors. We had none sign up this evening, which takes us straight to item 3, the superintendent's report. Dr. Darrow.
Perfect. Area in front of you, I've placed a few items. I'd like to start off with Colonel Little's biography. She's sent us a little resume there. Colonel Little, welcome to Enid Air Force Base, Enid Community, and most certainly Enid Public Schools. We've all got your resume here in front of us. Very impressive. Would you like to share with the board any additional items?
Can you hear me? You okay?
Is your light on?
It is.
Okay, then you're good.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Again, as he said, Nikita Little, my go-by, and my nickname is Kiki, K-I-K-I. I just want to say that I'm very happy to be here. I've been here for about maybe 2.5 weeks or so. Took over from Colonel Paul Miller, who, of course, is now in beautiful Hawaii. Don't feel sorry for her. But I'm very happy to be here and proud to serve, not only, of course, in the Air Force capacity of my country, but certainly to serve this community. I realize that I'm a non-voting member, but again, I'm very happy to be here and just eager to learn, eager to get to know the panel and the board members, so to the board members and to the attendees. And so tonight, of course, I would just be in sponge mode, observing, listening, and again, looking forward to serving in our continued relationship. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us, and glad to have you, and look forward to working with you. Thank you, Colonel Little. Okay, next is another discussion item, and all of you guys should have a district coin at your area, and the district coin represents our motto for this year, which is Are You the One? Are You the One was created by the executive leadership team and I. The last couple of months we've been working on that, and the ARE stands for attendance, relationships, and engagement. And those are the qualities we're looking to have for all school employees, having great attendance, great relationships with students and staff, and also being engaging. Be where your feet are, be mentally engaged at all times. So anyways, that's going to be the theme for this year, and we've got Mr. Rader made up a bunch of coins, and we'll be dispersing them out throughout the year. Item 3C is actually an action item, so I'm going to seek your approval on this one. It is a pay increase from $200 to $250 for driver's ed. You've got a short handout in front of you. If you'll take a look at that, a couple things I'd like to point out, and Dr. Rhodes and Dr. Robinson could chime in at any point in time, but this is still significantly less than what cowboy driving or bison driving is. And the last thing is that we have not had a pay increase, Dr. Robinson found out, since 2019. So we've been stagnant for quite a while. definitely seek your approval on this and be happy to answer any questions.
I will entertain a motion for item 3C.
So moved.
Motion. Is there any discussion? All those in did you catch that, Randy Long and Matt Sampson? I'm sorry, I did not. I confused myself. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Thank you. So we'll keep going to 3D. Got another handout there in front of you. Again, Dr. Rhodes and Dr. Robinson, and I think Mr. Tibbs actually was working on this as well. This is just an update on our gate pricing to try to keep our, I think our gates fees are very comparable to 6A schools, 6A football and basketball, and et cetera. We have bumped them up a little bit, and one thing you might notice is that the GoFan app is a little bit cheaper. We met with athletics last week. The GoFan app works so much better for getting people in. Frances and her team can just literally walk around, and just much like if you've been to a college game, they can just fast track it. And this is something OSSAA has been doing too, is trying to go digital passes as well. So the GoFan will be a little bit cheaper, but again, I seek your approval. And one last thing I'd like to add is this is also helping us battle the rising umpire and referees rates as well. So
I will entertain a motion.
Colonel Little might have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I had a question. You said this would entertain the rating of X rates. I didn't understand.
Referees.
Umpires, referees, yes, ma'am. Yep.
Referees.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Dudley, will we still do a student packet like they've done in the past?
Yeah, student IDs. Yeah.
So with that, what's the fee that GoFan gives? Is it different for different sports? Because I guess it just says plus their fee.
Yep, the GoFan fee is $1.
Okay.
Yep, so that's their rate. Really, the offset of that is we have to have fewer ticket takers when we use GoFan, so that's the dollar offsetting fee helps us on our payroll side.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for item 3D.
So
Who was that? Randy, thank you. Matt Lillman, do I have a second?
Second.
Matt Sampson, any further discussion?
So I do have one more question on that. So on the students, it's not their ID, they have to buy a packet, right? I mean, the sports, is that? With their student ID, don't they have to pay a little bit extra for the all-sport pass or something
Yes.
like that?
Yes, and that is something I don't know if that has been completely finalized on the student pass. One of the things that was talked about when I was there was we were going to do a high school only student pass, a middle school only pass, and I'm going to throw a number out there. Please don't hold me to this one. It was going to be like $30, and that gets you into every game we have. If you do that, what we were talking about on a middle school, high school pass was going to be $50, and that would get you into every middle school, high school event if there's a need for that. And that would, instead of doing 30 and 30 being 60, it'd save you a little bit of money if you had to do both. So, but again, I don't know if that has been completely finalized with this athletic director transition at this time. So,
Okay.
But it's going to be.
Good question. Yeah, we need to follow up on it.
And I just want to ask, last year's gate prices, like for football, for an adult, it was $10, right? Is that
Yes.
correct? So if you do the GoFan, you're basically paying the same cost, and you get in faster. Because if anyone's been to a high school football game in Enid, the line gets really long. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Okay, that takes us down to E, and I just want to touch base with everybody and let you know that we're going to have our first meeting this coming Thursday at 9 a.m. We've sent out official letters. Becky's helped me and sent out official letters to several current employees, community members. All of the leadership team is planning on being there as well. If any of you guys would like to attend, you're more than welcome. We'll have our first meeting this coming Thursday at 9 o'clock. It'll be July 20th. The three things that we're going to start this initial meeting on is transportation, school security at the site, at each site level, and the last one is our student technology needs, specifically our Chromebooks, trying to stay on top of that. We're really wide open on this discussion. We're really looking to see where this committee steers us. Those are the three things that we're looking to target. And I don't have much more to report at this time, other than we've identified a list, and I'll know more next month. So, guys, did I miss anything on that? Transportation, student Chromebooks, and safety and security. All right, the next one is very similar. That'll be item 3F. Just want to remind you guys, we have the leadership meeting in OSSBA coming up on the 24th through the 27th. That's down in Oklahoma City. That's a good way to get your points, the required ethics and the required financial courses that are required to be a board member. That's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm planning on going down probably Thursday night, stay night Thursday, going Friday because we play Muskogee Friday night at Muskogee, so that's going to be a long day. So I'll go to the conference Friday and go to Muskogee and then come back and go Saturday. But you might just want to pencil those dates down. If they work with your schedule, just let Becky or I know. Get a motel and help out anyway. But just want to mark that down.
Colonel Little, that is not a requirement of you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
You're welcome.
So just an FYI on item E, or excuse me, F. All right. Going down to item G, again, this is another discussion item. You guys have seen this document before. This is our senior activities and events. Slight change that we've made I want to make everybody aware of is we've went ahead and solidified we're going to graduate Thursday, May 16th. Last year we did option 1, 2, or 3. This year it's the option 1's going to be at the stadium, option 2 is going to be at the Expo Center. We're not going to spread this out to Friday or Saturday, and that was just coming from the feedback with all the family members having their families come in and having to wait an extra day, and project graduation, really not knowing when for the kids. And so hopefully this will be a lot better for families and students and everyone. And we'll make that determination. Obviously, hopefully, we'd love to graduate at the Selby Stadium. It's just a great event when we can have it out there, but we've got the backup Expo Center reserved if we need it. So, no other changes on that. Item 3H, I do need your approval on this one. This will be the dates. Dr. Robinson has researched these dates for us. These will be the dates for 2024. Just about every one of them works out pretty well on the schedule, but we did have to tweak a couple of them. I think January 16th was one we had to change. It's a Tuesday meeting. And then the one after spring break was another one, but again, we need to get these dates filed with the county, so I seek your approval on it.
I'll entertain a motion for item 3H.
So moved.
Chad Mance.
Second.
Was that Matt Loman? Thank you, sorry. My ears are not working well tonight. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Perfect. Okay, last one for me is another action item, and we need to look at moving the October 16th scheduled board meeting to October 17th, and the reason why is because we don't have school on the 16th, so if we're going to recognize any students or staff members, they may be out of town and for a fall break, and so just need to move that to the Tuesday the 17th.
I'll entertain a motion for item 3I. Motion by Matt Sampson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chad Mance. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
That concludes my portion.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Takes us to item 4, regular business. We can take 4A1 through 8 for approval. Do I have a motion? Is that Matt Loman? Sorry, I don't know why I can't hear you tonight. Do I have a second? Second by Randy Long. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. It takes us to item 4B, discussion then possible action to approve the district financial report for June 2023. Dr. Robinson?
All right, on the finance report, this is the FY23 total finance. There is a little caveat to that. We are still actually closing POs out for FY23. So encumbrances should continue to come down. Just for instance, today I closed out about $80,000 in POs this morning. And those are on things like food and stuff. You don't know where the bills are going to come in. It's kind of weird to say, but it's the truth. And so we are closing all those things out. When you close out, $2,500 POs, all of a sudden you got $10,000 you just closed out. So that's what we're working through right now in the month of July, and then we'll submit all that final data by September 1st, and then that will be the official close to the FY23 fiscal year for us. So the page that you guys normally look at with the red and green, I'm going to skip over that one. And we're going to go to this other document you have with all the numbers on it that says FY23 carryover by fund. And with that, I just kind of want to mention a couple of things. And these are unaudited figures, by the way. This is just Sam's calculation. And again, for Fund 11 and Fund 21, there will be some changes. But for FY23 so far, and we know that revenue is finished, we brought in almost $94.5 million this year in revenue, and that does include carryover from the last fiscal year of $19.3 million. And so we are looking at adding to the carryover over $1.7 million, which we'll discuss more of that after we come out of executive session on personnel a little bit, and what we can do with that. And so we're looking at a carryover of $21.1 million. Again, like I said, that's probably going to increase just a little bit from closing out encumbrances and not having those lapsed appropriations going into FY24. Fund 21, we were blessed by our legislature this year with some Redbud funds. Redbud funds were originally money that were set aside for taxation on medical marijuana. This year, they actually did an appropriation out of the general operating budget of the state. And out of those funds, we received over $600,000. And so with that money coming in, it has given us an additional carryover of almost $366,000 into the building fund. This is one fund that I don't think we should be adding a lot to the carryover of that fund. It's already pretty healthy at over $2.5 million. And so we will look at ways we can spend that next year. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute on what we can do and what you guys gave me approval on before. And you can see Fund 25, 31, 38, 39, and 50. Those are all cash funds. Those numbers, those are really solid numbers. They'll come forward in the estimate of needs and look really close there. But again, those are cash funds, so whatever cash we actually have in the account is the cash we can spend on those funds. They're not appropriated accounts. And so that's kind of just a rough overview of that. Again, we'll have a more finalized number. We'll get the estimate of needs in September. But all in all, this is really good news. The one caveat I want to add to this is we do need to look very carefully at how we're expending funds this next fiscal year in FY24, because we will run out of our ESSER funds. And our ESSER funds are about $5 million for this next year to spend, and we will spend most of that on one-time expenditures. If it's not on a one-time recurring expenditure, it's because we're going to replace it with a federal program in the next fiscal year, because that money maybe is already being spent on a one-time expenditure. So I'm telling everybody we are going on a spending diet somewhat, even though it may not look like a spending diet, because we do have $5 million extra dollars to spend on one-time expenditures, such as, and I'm going to say school buses. That's a one-time allowable expenditure out of ESSER funds that we wouldn't have a recurring cost on. So we need to be really cognizant of that and know that these are our spending highs unless we are given more money from the legislature, which we are very thankful for the additional $5 million coming into them, but most of that has already been dedicated to salaries for all employees. So that's the finance report in a nutshell. If there's any questions, I'll definitely entertain those and take them.
Okay, first I will entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented by Dr. Robinson.
So moved.
Motion by Matt Sampson. Second by Matt Lohman. Any discussion?
Oh, hold.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're fine.
I said I was going to add one more thing, and I forgot about it. Okay, so the one more thing, $366,000. You guys at the last meeting gave me approval to approve the contracts on the tennis courts after July 1, which we did. I did do that. I executed that contract. Tennis courts should be being in work. I've left you a schedule up there for you to see. You granted me permission for $1.75 million, and so I did execute a contract for that very amount with a contingency of $17,500. So that means that $17,500 is just in case coming out of the dirt we run into a problem. I don't have to come back and say, guys, I messed up. We need a little bit more money on this project. I'm not expecting that to happen, but let's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So with that being said, there's a timeline there, 28 weeks, 196 days. Should have that project hopefully completed by February. That's pending weather holds out for us. And then site prep the last week of July, first week of August. Hopefully all the concrete is poured, which is the biggest part of this project, by January 1. And when I talk about $366,000, that's a good place to spend that money, is on a tennis court. And there's a lot of other projects that we need to complete and take care of for this district to maintain our buildings, to maintain the bond projects that we've done in place over the past. And so, to me, the benefit of students, the benefit of our facilities is that carryover we've added to, this additional Red Bud money we're going to have come in this next fiscal year. These are all great things and great places to spend those dollars on to take care of this district and its needs going forward. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you. We don't need to redo our motions.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Didn't think so. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Item C, discussion and possible action to approve the receipt of grant funds of $250,000 from the City of Enid dedicated to supplement possible funding from the federal government, specifically for public schools on military installations, to be used at Eisenhower Elementary for improving the campus through facility renovations and new construction. Dr. Robinson.
All right, this spring, the City of Enid secured $250,000 in state dollars for possible renovations and supplementary funds to a possible federal grant that Enid Public Schools could take hold of. That process could require a 20% match from Enid Public Schools. Again, that 20% can come from anywhere. So out of that 20% match for whichever direction, whichever way the grant goes, we now have $250,000 that we could utilize towards that. That process is ongoing. It's not, we're finished with it. We haven't even received the federal side of it. So this is just the very beginning stages of it. I believe this money is actually FY $21 left over from the state of Oklahoma that we were able to get a hold of through the City of Enid. City of Enid has been nice enough to turn those funds over to us once we take action on receiving those funds, and those funds can only be used for renovation, addition, or new construction at Eisenhower. And as that process unfolds, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop on that. Like I said, we're at the very beginning stages of all this, and we're just trying to acquire the 20% without having to do a burden to our taxpayers. And if there's a way we can do that through other means, we're going to definitely go down that avenue. And that's what this first $250,000 represents.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion for item 4C. Yes.
Hi, I have a new girl question. I know this is at the very beginning stages of this process, and is there any indication of when you'll know if this is a go and you have the funds?
We are trying to set a meeting up very soon. I would say end of the month, maybe in August, with some of our local representation. And then we have to do a presentation to I believe it's Department of Defense, the civilian side part of that. And it's a proposal on how we want to proceed. At the same time, we have to navigate how do they want to fund. So we're trying to navigate the piece of, are we going to proceed in a manner of new construction? Or we're going to proceed in a manner of renovation? Are you going to fund us in a manner of renovation or new construction? And so it's kind of like we don't know if we're the horse or we're the cart and where that lies at right now. I guess that's the best analogy to put for that. And so that's why we need to work with the local individuals that we have first. And when I say local, that's state and federal representation for us. And then we can see if we can secure, how much of a 20% we can secure. And then we will have a better idea of how we need to proceed and how the Department of Defense wants to proceed with us as well. The other thing that puts us in a unique situation, just to kind of catch everybody up on this, is we're pretty unique in that we own, as a school district, we own the property at Eisenhower. It is not Vance Air Force Base, not federal property. And so it's kind of throwing a little bit of a monkey wrench into this process, because normally they just come out and they say, well, we're going to do this. We own the property. We can do whatever we want on it. It's not that easy because we have to navigate ownership of that property. And trust me, we're not going to get in the way if somebody says, here's a couple $1 million, we want you to do this. But as a process, as you're aware with the federal government, everybody's trying to see which I we got to dot and which T we have to cross before they can actually grant money for land owned by a school district sitting on a military installation. So I think we're going to get there. It's just a matter of what does that total process and the number of days look like to get there.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sam, on that as well, the 250,000, if it doesn't come through with the federal money, can we still use the 250,000? And worst case scenario, we just give it back?
Yeah, I believe the 250 is being given to us for improvements at
Regardless.
Eisenhower. Yes, and as you know, air conditioning, classroom, I mean, there's a number of things that we could spend that on. I'm going to kind of step out on a limb and say that more than likely we're going to spend part of that $250,000 with an architect to develop a plan for a really formalized plan, because we have been given an indication that a design process might help us in securing more funds. And so to me, that would be a good expenditure of those funds. It would definitely count towards a 20% if we had to go there. And plus it just gets us one step ahead of where we need to be with the Department of Defense and receiving those additional, much larger funds. So.
Okay, I will entertain a motion. Item 4C.
So moved.
Motion by Randy Long. Second by Matt Sampson. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Item 5, new business. Do we have any new business, Dr. Darrow?
No.
No new business. Takes us to item 6, reports, items of information, board comments, and/or questions. Colonel Little, this is your moment. Do you have anything you would like to add?
I do not, and thank you for allowing me to ask questions throughout the process, because that's normally what I do. By the time you get to the end, you kind of forgot what you were going to say 30 minutes ago, right? But no, thank you for allowing me to ask questions throughout the time. Thank you. Oh, you know, I do have a quick question. Item, what is it? We already voted. It's about the MOU. Yes, thank you. So item 4.8, MOU between the wing and the schools for a STEM grant. Can you explain that to me just a little bit? I know it's already,
Approved,
voted on. Yes,
right?
ma'am.
No, you're fine. But Dr. Robinson, can I turn that one over to you?
Sure. This is just an MOU that allows us to receive funding from the Air Force for STEM activities, STEM anything in our classrooms without going through a lot of paperwork for each individual piece of funding that might be made available to Enid Public Schools. We've done this the last couple of years through our partnership with Vance. Sometimes there's more money, sometimes there's less money. It all just kind of depends. So this kind of frees up that process for whenever the Air Force has money available, that it's ready to be received and utilized for whatever the intended purpose is.
We have been able to do some really cool stuff with that money, 3D printers and all kinds of neat stuff over the years.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Any board members? Okay, that takes us to item 7. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 21st at 6 p.m., but yes. I was confusing myself of dates. In the Administrative Services Center boardroom here at 500 South Independence, Enid, Oklahoma. Item 8, discussion and possible action to approve a proposed executive session to discuss the employment of those individuals and/or positions listed on the attached Exhibit A and Exhibit B, and possible purchase or appraisal of real property. Do I have a motion? Motion by Matt. See, I don't know what is going on with me. Second by Matt Sampson. Any discussion other than the fact that I might need to check my hearing? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. We're headed to executive session. It is 6:29. You went with 6:30? You went with 6:30.